Okay. So, we're doing leg lock defense, right?
Yeah.
So if he's, you go ahead. He's trying to get onto my legs, right? The best way to avoid leg locks, he's going in on one, right? Always keep people's feet off of you, right? Right now he has no meaningful contact with his feet, right? Are you actually controlling me right now? Right? Don't let people put their feet on you, right? So if he goes into any kind of, right here, his feet are now on me, right? I should be pummeling, controlling, right? Or his feet are higher, right? They're on my hip, they shouldn't be on me, and I should be clearing them off, right? Don't let people make meaningful contact. So if he has control of like a foot, right? And his feet are on me, I'm already messing up, right? So obviously I could take this, and what happens to his, like his posture and his hips, they have to shoot down, right? Because that's the only thing that's really tethering, right? But we're gonna make this assumption that I'm dead, right?
You want Ashi or what?
Sure, right? Feet should not be on you, right? This is my defense, right? I should be able to connect my elbows and my knees at any time, right? Like so, little ball, right? So if he's in here and I don't want his feet on me, right, like so. So he has to put his foot almost in front of me to put it on in me. This is also gonna free my knee line, right? So if his knees are together, right, feet on me, I'm losing this battle, right? If I come in with my elbow, clear that foot, that means I can also typically open up the knee. We're not gonna talk so much about straight ankle lock defense, right? We kind of talked about it on how we're like, oh, put the boot on. This is gonna have all the same thing, right? We're gonna talk about the big bad heel hook, right? Because, you know, that's what everyone and their mom wants to defend, because that's the king killer, right? So what he's doing right now, right, he's trying to get heel exposure, right? It gets way harder. Instead of putting on the boot like you would, if I put the boot on, right, and I'm like, ha-ha, right, I expose my heel. So we're actually gonna do the opposite of what we do for an ankle lock, a straight ankle lock. We're gonna point our toes like a ballerina, right? If he tries to find my heel now, he had to turn to get the exposure. When he does that, what is he doing right here? The same exact thing that I just explained about getting people's feet and knees off you, right? So when we point our toes, unless he's able to go belly down, right? And even here, if I do this, right? Like it's gone, right? You're going to learn today about foot slipping and back stepping, right? We're gonna point our toes, and you know those S-sits that we do? I'm like, woo, woo. All those variations, that's what we're going to do. It's not just for arm bars, right? It's also for hiding one's feet, right? So if I'm pointing my toes, right? All right, so he's going for heel exposure, right? He's got to be able to get my foot to do a chicken wing almost, right? If that said, see how I'm sitting like this? I'm going to swap which foot is where. Can you get my heel now?
Let that belly down, bro.
So as soon as he tries, like, let's say he tries to belly down, you see where my hand is? This is gone. That's all I've done. Right, and I'm not even really moved. I've literally lifted my hips up, higher hips, aka I'm winning the leg battle, right? And I'm clearing the control. You can do this from butt, thigh, or knee, right? If you put it on the foot, you're not really gonna do it, right? If you're on the bottom side, it does work. Like, aka, he's got my foot on top of his leg, right? So if I do this, right, I can go over his foot. Does that make sense? Right? But that's because it's trapped by my leg and my hand, right? I have something over the higher portion. I can't just do that. Right, go ahead. Back to the heel hook. Right, so if I'm here, I can't just do this and be like, I'm gonna get this. Right, there's very little movement there versus here where I could push, right? And I'm using a push grip, not a interesting thing, right? When we talk about no thumb, we're talking about a pull grip, right? You pull when you don't have a thumb. When you have a thumb, it's for pushing, right? So you're gonna put your thumb, and you're gonna push it. All right? So, just so you can see all of y'all with this foot, right? I'm pointing my toes. You might get little footy cramps today, but you know, whatever. Right, point your toes, and then you're gonna S sit, right? He wants to put my heel facing this direction, right? So I'm going to put my foot facing this direction. And then I'm gonna do all the same things, right? I'm gonna get people's foot off me. I'm gonna open up their knees, right? And have almost no risk of being leg locked here, right? And if I wanna work into my own, I can. Or I can use this to get out, right? So as you're going, I just want you all to point your toes, right? Whatever heel hook you wanna put on each other. Be very gentle with each other still, right? You're experimenting. And literally point your toes and then S sit, whichever way they're gonna take the heel, go the opposite. Right, so he's trying to take my heel this way. I'm gonna go this way. He's trying to take my heel that way. I'm gonna go this way. Primarily practice, right? If they're trying to take your heel to the outside, coming this way. We'll go over a little bit on the other one. It takes a little bit more body awareness because it's a timing issue. Does that make sense? Okay, give that a try. You'll know what you're all doing?
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Let's give it a go. Ah. Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, this leg this time so the camera can see it.
Sure. All right, so another thing you can do, right, we're all here, like we see the same thing, just going for a heel hook. You can do double outside, double inside, I don't really care, your choice, with your feet, because like, obviously, with this, right, there are two options when it comes to knees, right? They can either be completely touching together, right? Or you want them completely open, right? But both should have the result that he's facing relatively flat, right? If he's on his side, right, I'm going to open his knee to get him to flatten out, right? His braking power when he's flat is drastically less, right? If I'm like way up here like this, okay, it's not that much less, right? But I should be coming up, putting this closer to the ground, right? The closer it is to the ground, right? I'm not standing on it. If you stand on a heel hook, your shit's gonna get fucked, right? If you're like, I'm gonna stand up, right? All I'm doing is taking every ounce of like force of resistance that I can apply, and I'm just giving him ownership of it because I'm putting it at the fulcrum, right? So please don't stand up on it. Don't listen to that as that. But you can use this, right? Say he's trying to go this direction, right? He wants to go this direction. Keep people's knees open, right? They can't, same thing as straight ankle lock or any of that kind of stuff. If he's going for straight, right? And he starts to go this way, I'm going to scoop, and I'm gonna keep him flat. I have very little like risk of him breaking me on a straight ankle, especially if he's flat, right? And in any direction, start peeling these fucking knees open, right? So we go back to the heel hook, right? Here, right? If he wants that heel hook, right? I want to be able to maintain these knees either open or all the way squeezy closed, right? But if the only way I want them squeezy closed if my legs are not in between them at the higher point. I am in between them at the super low point, right? His knees, right, do nothing to my knee if it's way up here, right? Do you feel like you have any control of the leg, right? So we talk about squeezing the knees, right? But we talk about squeezing the knees when it's like in the in-between of up here and here.
Yeah, the
right?
knee line, right?
Right? As soon as I put his knee almost in line and touching,
Yeah, there's nothing.
right? There's nothing. He's still squeezing his knees all he wants, right?
But yeah, there's no
How much tension is on my foot?
zero.
Nothing, right? So he does the same thing, right?
Here.
How much tension is do I look like I have as much free movement, right? I can't even touch the, I have hard time touching, I shouldn't have said can't, right? I have hard time touching the floor. Nothing. I can do anything I want with my foot almost, right? So the braking mechanics get far less, right? The closer his knees get together, right?
After you've cleared the knee line.
After you clear the knee line, right? Of course, right? Because if you do it right here and you're like, I'm gonna put his knees
I'm like,
together.
oh, thank you.
You're locking yourself in, and that's done, right? So if you can do that same kind of push, You start pushing down, this is not holding me. Okay?
You guys know what we mean by knee line? So knee line just means my knees are controlling his knee above the kneecap. If my knees are controlling below the kneecap, that's what Arthro's saying. There's nothing here. So when you say clear the knee line, it means clear the knee line. Knee line cleared.
So, nutshell, why is this knee important, right? If I try to stand up, there's something in my way. I try to rotate, I can't. I try to rotate, can't. He has extensively controlled my hip through my knee, right? As soon as I have hip control, even if my knee was super deep, right? I can't even do it. I know, I'm super flexible about it. Some people got very flexible knees. They can put their knee like on the ground and stuff like that. Not me, not gonna happen, right? But you can still have like a leg strapped, right? But if your hips can move, right? You can go anything of like that kind of nature. You're not actually trapped, so to speak, but like that's for the purpose of simplicity, right? If your knee's trapped, your hip's trapped, right? So for here, I want to make sure that either doesn't happen, right? I can go here, I can go here, I can wedge in, connecting elbows, knees again, right? Keeping this open, right? And then I can just be, whoop. No feet on me, no knees, right? You could try to finish a lock. I can sit there, right? And this is like why people who are like go ahead and put a lock on, right? You'll see people, they're gonna go put the heel hook on, they'll point their toes, and you'll just see them do stuff like this. And they just sit there, right? And it's because they're letting you work, right? Or they're being very, very lazy, which is whatever, right? But what's extensively controlling me? Nothing. Okay. So remember, pointing toes, right? Going into your S sit, opening knees, right? And controlling feet off of you. Give that a try. Make sure you open the knees. All right. So let's say we're late to the party. They got it, right? They have the heel, right? Always, if you can connect to someone's hands, that means he's not gonna break this, right? He could try. He can't get extension away from me, right? He needs to have extension, right? He can absolutely do it one-handed. If you put this hand way over there, right, and he goes to finish the heel hook right now, right? He can absolutely
Grab his lapel or something?
doesn't need to, right? The problem is, right, he can get extension there, right? If I can connect to his arm, right, I now have three things fighting the one, right? This is fighting, well, 2 versus 3. I'm gonna say 2 versus 3, right? I'm connected, and I have the ability to do nonsense with my feet, right? So I'm literally just gonna pull him towards me, right? This is why we're wearing gi as well, right? I can literally work and just bring him in, right? So if you can connect to someone's hands when you're late, right? You're like, this person's legs are fucking, like, get Aki's legs off you. Good fucking luck, right? If you can connect to Aki, he can't extend away from you, right? Then I connect again and again. Now his foot wants to come off. Okay? So, late to the party, I try to get the far hand underneath, and I'll clasp, and I pull in. And then I try to get elbow to elbow. Typically doesn't happen. You can rear naked or whatever. Then I feed lapel. Then I grab the far lapel. Do you think I could grab his far lapel at any time when he's trying to do this? No. I might get lucky and be like, oh, Cause like, realize, his gi isn't probably gonna have that. I could barely probably grab the front one. You know what I can grab? That elbow. Now, I started getting head control. Never let anyone grab your head in jiu-jitsu. Solid rule. No matter where you're at, don't let anyone grab your head, right? I now have his head. We are now centered again, right? Now all these things where I'm like, ooh, I don't want his feet on top of me. Right. I start to build up. He has inside position, sure. No more. One more time. Connect the hands, right? Connect to the lapel. Straighten them up with you. Clear the foot line if you choose. Not my business. If you want to sit there and play footsies, your choice, right? But you should build up. Questions, comments? All right, give it a try. All right. So,
Two leg locks, right?
so we're here, right? Let's say they're inside, right? If my foot can come on top of his
Oh,
shin,
yeah, that's done.
go ahead and try to
No.
ankle lock or anything.
No, it's,
Right.
it's
He
done.
can't maintain control.
See his.
My foot is on top of his foot.
Yeah.
Right, so like when he came in for the leg lock, right, sorry, right?
Now that being said, I
Here.
was being lazy. Yes. When you get that, it's done. It's locked.
If my laces
If
are
you can
on
see it.
top of his laces,
Yeah.
right, he has the hardest time controlling my hip, right? And that being said, if he can't control my hip, that means
Yeah.
this means nothing. Right, so an easy deterrent if you want to, you know, mess with people. They're like, oh, I'm coming in, and you just come like this and do that. They trap their laces, right? Now, let's say I can't do that. Just being smart, got it nice on my butt, right? I'm gonna take my foot and I can put it right here, right? This little spot right in this thigh.
It's called my penis.
Oh, fair
I'm
enough.
just kidding, kidding.
Right, so he's gonna go for this like heel hook style, right? You see how his foot has to get tight? Can't stay open, I mean, I can't stay closed, right? I'm putting force here, it's part of the leg pummel. Once it's open, we can change and escape, or we can attack, your choice. Me.
Buttholes and penises.
Yep. So, if, again, foot's nice in, right, nice on top, right, I'm not getting anywhere. You come onto the inside, you can reinforce your own knee. So if he tries to go for a heel hook, go ahead. No, go ahead, like for, you can turn it. Keep going. You can keep going. See the knee, right, is not getting rotated.
Because I can't pinch.
I'm filling the space. I'm being able to lessen and contract, right? AKA I'm getting movement up and down and side to side, right? Do not recommend this being your only defense. However, if you need to buy yourself time and you get this foot in here and you're like, okay, right? Or if he's got really good attachment and you're like, I need this in here. Right, where am I? I'm in all those same things, right? I had to buy time, right? How did I buy time? Put my foot on the inside, right? All right, so we do it again, right? And I'm like, oh no, right? And I get any kind of opening, any type of opening like this, I should be trying to insert my leg. Do not cross your feet. This is the worst decision of your life.
Oh yeah.
You are now trapped, right? He's got both your leggies, right? I'm a fucking, I don't want to say that because that's rude. Anyway,
Double trouble.
yeah, I'm in double trouble. That's a nice
What
way of saying it.
Danaher would say.
Sorry, anything that my feet get crossed, this is a huge no-no, right? Putting both legs straight in a leg entanglement, also a big no-no. If it both happen, you're just stupid. I don't know what else to tell you, right? So do not, if you're like, oh, I've got the opening, and you put your foot in, right? And you feel their hand pull that foot, you best be getting your hippies away as fast as you can. You should be like, you're gonna look real silly, like a fucking fish out of water. But please don't put your foot in there all the way, right? You can leg pummel all you want, but don't fucking be like, I'm gonna just put my foot in, right? We're using our foot as a wedge, right? So we're here, right? Why is putting my foot here work? Because it's a wedge to fill, he can't fill the space now, right? Putting the foot here, it's a wedge, right? Now, let's say he's tight, right? He does all this stuff, right? A lot of people will put the foot on their butt, right? This works if you're rotating. I have mixed feelings about rotation in the first place, right? If you're gonna rotate and you rotate the wrong way, you're gonna hurt yourself. If you rotate the right way, you still might hurt yourself, right? That's why I have mixed feelings about rotating. However, if I can get his butt to start to shift, right? This is far less pressure, even right here, if you went for the heel hook. Why? Because of knee line. We already talked about it, right? So that little bit of pressure, if I can get him to shift, right? Because he wasn't tight enough on his legs, it's a win, right? Because from here, I can just be like, oh, okay, I will build up, right? Because there's nothing really stopping me from getting my hips up. Right. So you can absolutely put your foot and like push them. I just find it's very weak from this position. So, I mean, you do you. I'm not relying my safety on it. Okay. So if you do any of these things like in isolation, they're very weak. If I just did this, he's still gonna break my foot, right? If I just opened up his knees, yeah, right, and I was like, ha, he's still gonna break my foot, right? If I open up his knee, right, and I'm like, aha, now I've isolated this out, right? And I'm not doing anything with my foot should now be engaged, right? I should be like, okay, right? Now you see I'm sitting on top of his foot, right? You see how I have this open. For him to connect his knees together, for him to be able to apply pressure, it's very hard, right? I'm even floating, right? To make sure I'm not hurting his foot. So, don't do things in isolation. If you're gonna use your foot, right? Don't just use your foot, use it in combination. Make sense? Cool. All right, give it a try.